Well, all right. Kind of out of nowhere, the Titans get Calvin Ridley. We knew, there was talks about Ridley. Apparently, he wanted to go back to Jacksonville. That was the report, but the money wasn't quite right. New England was making a strong push, but he was kind of maybe wanting to stay somewhere more warm. It might be. I don't know. But he ends up signing a 4-year deal worth $92 million. So, yeah, he got paid. He got some money here. No denying that. $50 million fully guaranteed. So, it depends on exactly how the guarantees work, but it does seem like a contract you could get out of in a couple years if you have to. He is 29 years old at this point, so it's always nice to have that safety valve if it's there if you're the Jaguars. But, a lot of, again, you don't sign a contract hoping to get out of it, right? You want it, hopefully, for him to play the full 4 years. And for Calvin Ridley, it's interesting. So Tennessee, a lot of people are going to say, why Tennessee? They do still have Hopkins on the roster, so at least for right now, there's a couple good receivers. For, I guess, Will Levis is still the guy, right? Who I thought showed enough in his first year to at least warrant a second year. I don't know if you're like super, I don't know if you're buying his jersey just quite yet if you're a Titans fan, but there is some, some talent in that receiving room as of right now. And I do have to say, part of me thinks there was the new GM after they got rid of A.J. Brown. Part of me wonders if this is a kind of more of a conscious effort to say, hey, receivers matter a lot in today's NFL. They do. It's a passing league. Let's go out and make sure we put a lot of resources into that position. And quite frankly, I don't have an issue with it. It's a lot of money, and that's the one thing you could argue is like, did they overpay for something like this? But at the same time, you want to have a good situation for your young quarterback. And even if Will Levis ends up being a bust and you suck next year, well, then you've created a good situation for the next guy, right? So for me, I think Carolina probably should have outpaid. And again, maybe he didn't want to go to Carolina, but I don't think Tennessee is like some great situation. You could argue, why is he going to Tennessee? My guess is Tennessee just outbid everybody. That's what I would probably assume happened. So, for now, I mean, Will Levis, a big, winner here as, again, I think he's an interesting player, and I'm interested in seeing what he can do. Maybe not the most exciting outcome, like for Calvin Ridley as a neutral fan, going to Tennessee and going to a division rival in Tennessee, another division rival. Man, so many guys going to division rivals. It's so interesting. But, and also, I called him 29. He is, but he turns 30. So, will be 33 on his the last year of this deal. But again, it might not be, there looks like there's going to be ways out of it. So my gut reaction is it might be a tad expensive, but you probably had to pay that if you're Tennessee to get him to come there. Because, I imagine Kansas City would have had to pay less, right? Or maybe not. Who knows what his priorities are. But I would guess that it's, a situation where you got to get him in the building. I don't really have an issue with overpaying for receivers. There are certain positions that I wouldn't love. I guess the thing is, how good is Calvin Ridley, right? Because I haven't talked about that at all in this video. But, he was someone who he has that 1,300-yard season under his belt. That's his only 1,000-yard season he's had in his career, though. So, that is kind of the question. He's shown flashes of being like that true number one guy, but he's kind of, I think, more often in his career just looked like a great number two option instead of a great number one option. And they're paying him like a great number one option. So that's the dilemma there, I suppose. At the same time, though, like, the reality is, unless you draft a wide receiver, like an elite wide receiver, you're not getting one in free agency. Like, that's the only way you can get an elite wide receiver is through a trade or through a draft. And so in free agency, this is about as good as it's going to get, which is why you get that top deal. Usually you have to pay either draft capital or extra cap space to get a guy. They're using extra cap space, and it's an interesting move. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.